On June 19, 1985, the outdoor cafes of San Salvador's Zona Rosa district were crowded with diners. This was a wealthy, highly visible neighborhood, offering a sense of security in a country otherwise consumed by civil war. That security vanished in an instant. Heavily armed men descended on a cafe and opened fire. The attack left several Salvadoran civilians and 4 off-duty United States Marines dead, sparking immediate national outrage. The lead attacker stood over the wounded victims, firing his weapon directly into them at close range, before retreating into the night. For years, El Salvador's civil war had been fought in rural mountains and distant villages. That night proved the insurgency could bypass those borders, striking the center of the capital to target American influence. The group claiming responsibility was the Mardoqueo Cruz Urban Commando, a specialized strike cell operating under the leftist insurgent coalition known as the FMLN. This map illustrates a shift in insurgent strategy. Commanders decided to bring the conflict directly into the capital. Striking a nightlife district was calculated to generate maximum psychological shock within the city, and the withdrawal was flawless. They left behind spent shell casings and shattered glass, but no forensic trail. They disappeared back into the city, shielded by a network of safe houses and combat aliases. The investigators were immediately paralyzed. They were hunting phantoms protected by the chaotic fog of a civil war. 6 weeks passed without a single solid lead. Then, a massive intelligence break arrived from the United States border. Border Patrol agents detained a Salvadoran man attempting to cross illegally. To save himself, he traded what he knew. He described working at an upholstery shop in San Salvador, where he heard men tied to the insurgency bragging about the attack. Salvadoran police raided the upholstery shop and pulled 2 men out. Under interrogation, both confessed to being part of the hit team at the cafe. A chance border detention thousands of miles away provided the information needed to make the first arrests in the case. The Salvadoran government immediately turned the arrests into a public display. They paraded the 2 confessed gunmen in front of cameras, using the press conference as a form of coercive theater to show the state was functioning. These captured men sat at the bottom of the operational chain. Their confessions provided a blueprint of the command structure. The shooters identified Ulysses, the operative responsible for hiding the weapons. Sitting at the top was the architect, Senior Commander Pedro Antonio Andrade, alias Mario. The investigation shifted its focus to the high-level command layer. Authorities were launching a manhunt for the mastermind who had planned the massacre. By 1987, the initial momentum stalled as the case was dragged into the murky Salvadoran military court system. The court dismissed all charges against the confessed shooters. Citing a regional amnesty law, the judges argued that the off-duty Marines were participants in the broader armed conflict, making the attack a legitimate act of war. This ruling ignored the murdered civilians and drew intense diplomatic pressure from the United States. Washington eventually forced the Salvadoran president to intervene and overturn the amnesty dismissal. The legal fight exposed a crumbling justice system. Officials were willing to redefine murder to facilitate a fragile peace process. In 1989, authorities finally achieved their goal, the capture of the mastermind, Mario. But Andrade never faced a trial for the murders. Because of his senior position, he was deemed a valuable intelligence asset. He was thoroughly debriefed and quietly released. The final blow to the case came in 1993, when a sweeping general amnesty law was passed, permanently shielding all remaining participants from prosecution. The freedom of the Zona Rosa perpetrators was the result of calculated trade-offs. Genuine accountability was sacrificed for intelligence gathering and geopolitical stability.